Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, we're going to react to an American going to a British hospital for the first time. This is going to be quite interesting. I think American and British hospitals are probably very similar. But part of me thinks that because you guys have to pay for your own insurance, maybe yours are slightly better than ours. But, you know, if you go to a hospital in England or the US for any sort of ailment, you'll get treated, but maybe you won't have to wait as long in an American hospital, because in England, it can take a long time to get an appointment, especially if like it's, you've just walked in. So yeah, it's going to be quite cool to see what Evan makes of his trip.
Hi, I'm Al Mills. I'm not.
Ooh, let's upgrade this. Oh no, it's the highest it goes.
And you're probably wondering how I wound up in this situation. Well, before you can understand this...
I'm not squirming under pain. It's just uncomfortable. What if my appendix is somewhere else?
I think it's time we go all the way back to the beginning. So I was born July 29th. No, the whole thing kicked off last Friday. I was minding my own business, editing some travel vlogs that still haven't seen the light of day thanks to this, and all of a sudden, my stomach just started to hurt. It came in waves, and it was just this really gross, uncomfortable, squirming pain that wasn't too bad, but was enough that just made me go like, ugh. It felt like my insides were full of spaghetti, like a big bowl of spaghetti that someone was whooshing all around. Also, I realized that I was really hot, covered in sweat, like I was coming up with a fever, but then also was shivering. I didn't know what was going on. I had something like this happen a year ago, so I kind of went, I hope this isn't happening. I'll go to sleep early. So I went to sleep. Woke up in the morning, still pervasive. However, this was a Sunday, and I haven't missed a Sunday upload in so long, and so I edited through this weird pain, filmed a couple bits. Everyone really liked the video. Thank you very much for all the support. Very much appreciated. However, on the third day when I woke up, still in pain, except this time the pain was progressively worse, I realized I should probably find out what to do about this. It's just, my thought had been, I've been through worse. This time last year, I had a very similar type of thing, except the pain was excruciating, like right from the get-go. Lasted a week, I was like screaming in pain, and the doctors told me, it's just a bug. So I'm thinking, what could this be? It's probably just a bug, just stay at home. So I rang up 111. If you guys don't know, 111 is the UK's national free health line run by the NHS, and it's great. When my mom was visiting in June, even though she's not a resident of this country, she was able to call 111 and get the medical advice she needed and went to a hospital and got fixed. So, good job. Jesus, that's such a good thing.
111 do Americans or Canadians, anybody not in the UK watching this, do you have a similar thing? It's like the non-emergency version of 999 or 911. I'm guessing America and Canada have to have something like this. Germany probably too. France.
Really good because there's trained nurses on the phone, they follow a specific system, and then they can tell you, most likely, what you got, and then advise you what to do. Should you get some painkillers? Should you take it easy? Should you stay hydrated? Should you go to a walk-in clinic? Well, turns out they told me I needed to do that. Had to go to the hospital. Despite my American proclivities, I decided to finally put my taxes to use. Been putting all this money in, time to get it back out. Your boy's going to the hospital. I rock up to an incredibly crowded waiting room. There are literally 3 different children crying in different areas around me. It's like a surround sound system of pain and suffering. And so as I'm sitting there squirming in my pain, I'm kind of thinking, maybe it's not so bad for me. You know, I'm trying to humble myself and be like, there's probably worse situations. It made it even more real for me because after 5 or 10 minutes of just sitting in the waiting room, a nurse came through the doors and said, sorry guys, it's gonna be another hour or 2 hour extra wait because we just had 3 emergencies rushed to the back, which is always like horrifying because it's like, those people are clearly worse than me, which was my thought. However, the amount of people there that were like yelling and complaining to the nurse, like, what is she gonna be able to do for you? She's just a messenger here. Someone's like, this is unacceptable. I'm getting private next time. And I'm like, all right, Tori, let's call. You're here and you can afford get out of someone here. As they
honestly, people that say that, because here, like, we obviously have the NHS that everybody can use because you pay it for your taxes. But there's rich people that still use the NHS, which is fine, obviously, because you've paid your taxes too. But then don't complain about the service. Like, it is what it is, you know. If you want a quicker service, go private.
He decided to leave the doctor's office that I guess didn't necessarily need to be there, left saying, this is unacceptable and unfair. You know what else is unfair? probably get hit by a car. Okay, that's my soapbox. I'm sitting there in pain and hoping that I don't have anything bad happen to me, but I'm like, you know, I'll just take this L and wait an extra hour. Let's try and get more fun into the NHS though, am I right? Please. So I registered at the front desk. Luckily, 111 had given all my information already and what I had said on the phone, so I didn't have to worry about that. I sat down, waited, learned a little bit of Spanish, and after 3 hours, after also, by the way, they had a vending machine that had a meal deal in it. A meal deal vending machine. Wow. They live in luxury in this hospital. After the 3 hours, I was finally seen. I went
Getting
in.
a sandwich out of a vending machine.
Here's the situation. Also, here's my piss. You see, this is actually one of the few acceptable times to offer a woman your piss. Otherwise, you're in trouble.
Hey,
but she does a quick check of me, does the pulse, you know, does the old stethoscope and all that doctor nonsense. And she was like, well, you got appendicitis. My stomach drops because I have appendicitis, but also what? What? You mean when we get in all that trouble with the cop, but he can't write us a ticket because he doesn't have appendicitis? That pun was sick. So at this point, I'm just like, what? I can't believe this. I can't believe this has happened to me. What am I meant to do? And she was like, don't worry about it. Fun fact, 70% of people that get appendicitis, it heals on its own. Just take some codeine, prescribe, bam, have a nice day. I'm thinking, what? I've never heard this in my life. Appendicitis, you got two options. You remove your appendix, or you die when it ruptures.
Yeah, I remember that episode of The Simpsons where Dr. Hibbert has to like pull out someone's appendix and he throws it and then it explodes in the distance.
It's like, that's it. Okay, there is no pass and go and collecting your codeine $100. That's not how it works. But she was like, yeah, it happens all the time. Little poop gets stuck in your little appendix bit. It gets inflamed and 70% of the time, it heals on its own. Don't worry about it. Take this codeine, takes care of your pain. Don't know why I'm from the Bronx. Get out of here, forget about it. As she sent me out, she was like, if it gets worse in the next 24 hours, you need to come back to the hospital. And I was like, okay, praying to be that 70%, but that is not a good probability, okay? That is too slim for me. I went home, popped a couple codeine, and I was fine. Who was sick? Not me, no more spaghetti in my stomach. No way, no how. I feel great. I had a little bit to eat. I'm feeling fine. I'm like, I'm gonna go to bed and sleep this off. It'll all be gone in the morning. I'll wake up, hot sweat. Oh my God, I'm gonna throw up. Man. It's only 1 in the morning. I thought it was 6. I literally thought I was gonna hurl off the side of my bed because I had such intense nausea as I'm like drenched in sweat. And I'm like, oh, the pain is like killing me. And I'm like, this is it. This is where I die. As I lean over my bed to throw up, I'm like, no, not on my new laptop. Move it out of the way. I didn't end up having to throw up. And I was like, at this point, I'm calling out. Anyone help me? Everyone's asleep. It's 1 in the morning. Just kidding. I live in a house of YouTubers. Everyone's being rambunctious. I do what I do best. I don't know what to do. A tweet about it. In this part of my night where I literally thought I might die because it's 1 in the morning, the codeine should still be in my system, and yet I'm feeling intense pain. It's going through the codeine. I'm terrified. I'm thinking everything.
Yeah, man. I mean, codeine's a pretty powerful painkiller. So, yeah, if you're feeling pain still after popping a couple pills, El hospital.
Ruptured down there, and this is it. And when I tweeted out, what should I do? You guys kind of unanimously said the same thing. Oh my God, go back. At this point, I got a phone call from my good friend Dodie, who was like, Evan, you were going to the hospital. And I was like, I don't know. I was just there today. And she was like, I'm going to take you to the hospital whether you like it or not. And so she literally Ubered to my house. I called 111, set things up. They were like, yes, please come back. We organized it with the next hospital, and we Ubered on the way there.
Hey, Evan.
Hello.
What time is it?
Time to go to the hospital.
Well,
this is a video before I took a piss in that little tiny thing.
As I got out of my first Uber, hobbling over, holding my stomach as it lurched in pain as I'm now walking around with this freaking spaghetti swirl going around in my stomach. Look, it's a beautiful hospital.
Is that what appendicitis feels like? I don't know if I've had it. I don't think I've ever had it before. So it feels like spaghetti or worms in your gut.
Hospital. Quite a beautiful hospital indeed. There was only one problem.
Dodie has taken me to the wrong hospital.
Oh my God.
No.
I'm so sorry. They have the same name.
They don't. One's called Hammersmith, one's called Charing Cross.
What? Charing Cross is in Hammersmith. It doesn't make any sense.
But it's still called Charing Cross.
Then we were back on the road.
Back in an Uber, going the right way. Pain is coming in stronger waves. Very, very bad.
Soon the baby will come.
What? The baby will come. Yeah, people have been like, oh, it's like cramps. I'm like...
It's just the way you're like, the pain's coming stronger. 6 centimeters dilated.
I heard it's worse for women than appendicitis.
You're almost at 10 centimeters.
Because if it bursts, it then leaks into the ovaries, and it's very dangerous.
Oh.
If any ladies watching currently right now have ever had appendicitis and know this for a fact, let me know in the comments. I'm actually curious. That's just what one of the nurses had told me, so I could maybe not complain as much. But we finally made it to the right hospital right as my pain really started to ramp up. As soon as we got to the A&E, for Americans, that's the ER. I ran over to the desk. They already had my information thanks to me calling 111 prior, and within 5 minutes, I was being seen and treated by a nurse. Huzzah! Almost. I told her what the previous nurse at the previous hospital told me, and she straight up looked at me as if I was lying. She was like, nah, I do not think you have appendicitis. And at this point, I don't know what to believe. I
don't know why medical staff do that. I mean, not all of medical staff, but some of them just don't believe you have what you say you have. It's like, what more do you need to see? Like, do I need to literally be on the floor, like foaming at the mouth?
Told by a practitioner I have appendicitis, and now I'm being told by another one I don't. I don't want it, okay? I don't want these people thinking I'm just like, take my appendix out. I don't need it. I just like getting surgery done. No, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be at the hospital at all, but I'm only here because I was told to. So at this point, I'm like, is my appendix bursting? Am I scared? Because the main reason I needed to go that night was because I'm thinking, if I don't go right now, this thing will burst and I will die. Scary. Plus, I just didn't want him to think I was making up this pain, because I'm literally like bending over like I'm in pain from something. If it's not appendicitis, what's going on? I was then seen by a lovely nurse named Tommy, who looked a little bit like Freddie Mercury, who then took my pulse and made sure I was still under pressure. He took my blood, did a blood sample, told me, Evan, in 30 minutes, this blood sample will all be tested and we'll be good to go. We'll take you in. So I'm like, sweet, 30 minutes. Well.
So, I've taken some blood out of me now. They're going to do some tests. That's my urine, part 2.
And yes, that's my pee, okay? It's a natural thing. Don't get pissed off too much about it.
What did they say?
Well, they're just going to test my blood for 30 minutes, and then they'll be able to tell if there's an infection or something. Remember Tommy? I thought the doctor looked like Freddie Mercury.
Man, I hate having, blood tests and stuff. I just hate needles in general. Ugh.
The oddly soothing vaporwave music the hospital had on in the background was not making me feel as soothing as it usually does when it's in my Spotify playlist. Here's where the waiting began, and the pain fully set in. As we sat there, hour after hour, the pain kept coming in waves. It would be like 5 minutes of excruciating pain. I'm squirming all around and then gone. I'd think, maybe I can go home. The pain seems to have, nope, there it is. It was, horrible. Dodie tried to occupy our time by playing Hangman. Somehow I guessed the first one with no mistakes. It was only 5 letters. I'm very proud of this, okay? But after hour 2, I was in so much visible pain that other patients started to ask me if I could get some pain meds from the nurses, because they felt bad, I guess, looking at my pitiful self. This whole time, I'm thinking, guys, I'm afraid. Am I supposed to take painkillers if I'm gonna be, I don't know, getting a surgery or something? Aren't you not supposed to have anything? I don't know what's going on. They're like, you can get free painkillers if you're in the waiting room. Just ask a nurse. And I'm like, So eventually, Dodie gets up. She goes to find a nurse, comes back, and she was like, I found a girl. She was like, I'll be right with you in 1 minute. That minute, it lasted actually an eternity, because I never saw that girl again.
Do you know what it is, man? Like, there's not enough doctors and nurses in this country because they're underpaid. They aren't paid enough. So a lot of them are going to the US, to Australia, Canada, the Middle East, where they make double easily. So there's not enough staff at these hospitals. It's such a shame what's happened, over the last sort of 13, 14 years, like politically in this country.
I never saw her for the first time. Neither did Dodie did see her, and she's gone, okay? I didn't get any painkillers. However, hour 4, we're coming around. The people that are still hanging around with me, they're just like, this boy is having issues. I'm like, just dying on this chair. We can't sleep. There's these arms on the chairs. I'm just having a bad time. And so this one guy who literally had a heart attack yesterday goes to get a nurse who finally comes back and is like, hey, this guy told me you're in a lot of pain. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay, I'll get you some pain meds. He never came back!
How's it going?
Dang.
It comes in waves. It's a big wave at the moment.
Which one? Okay.
Two times. I didn't have, all I needed maybe was some pain meds, but damn, why didn't you bring your codeine, Evan? Didn't you get prescribed codeine? Yes, but it's an addictive substance, isn't it? I'm afraid of taking too much of that. I'd already taken 2 that evening, and I didn't know if I was supposed to take any like drugs like that because I didn't know if I was going to get surgery. So 2 times we asked for painkillers, and 2 times I got shut down. If I wanted to get rejection and be in pain that much, I'd just re-download Tinder. Shelly. As my gut began swiping left on my nervous system, the doctors finally saw me. It took 5 hours. It was now 6 a.m. I was delirious, but I finally had my own little curtained room. I was beginning to be both a mixture of pain and exhaustion from lack of sleep.
We waited for 4 hours because the other hospital shut down, so everyone was here, and it's been 4 hours since they got my blood taken.
Yeah, this is about right. If you go to A&E, you're going to be waiting about 5 to 6 hours to be seen. How long does it take if you go to the emergency room?
But
in America or Canada?
This is
I
an
got this
interesting
lovely
sign.
Tsukata. It's a Japanese nightwear. He said, take your things, he won't be coming back. I don't like that expression.
When I don't have a lot of sleep, I get like deliriously high. Like I will just say things and be more punny and silly than I ever am. It's not good when you're in a serious situation.
I'm not squirming under pain. It's just uncomfortable. What if my appendix is somewhere else?
And the worst of everything is, this whole time I'm in the waiting room, I am in severe pain. Soon as I get to that room and the doctors start like stabbing me with their little fingers, nada. I mean, it comes in waves. Like I said, I'd have periods where it didn't hurt for a good 10 minutes and I was like, I'm cured. I am Jesus. And then it comes back and I'm like, Satan in my belly. But no, as soon as it was time for the doctors to go messing around with my tongue.
I'm actually kind of curious. No, I'm not. Actually, no. I don't want appendicitis.
Tum-tums, nothing. Also, speaking of tum-tums, not one doctor referred to that area as anything except for a tummy. Tummy? Is that a British thing? I've only referred to that as my stomach, maybe my belly.
Yeah,
Every
we call
person,
it a tummy.
really old man, young woman, middle-aged guy. Oh, let me just get a touch of your tummy. Pardon? What's your profession? I don't know. Maybe that's the new scientific term. I wasn't learning. I didn't know. No one told me. Told me, no. Then we finally knew a bit more.
We had 3 doctors, and each of them was basically like, no appendicitis. Your first doctor or nurse, whatever.
Oh my God, it smells
was
so
reading
What?
over it. They don't know what it is. They think it might be an inflammation. It might be an infection. They're gonna give me an ultrasound.
I think you just have a lot of gas.
I had to fart, and it's
And he did.
3 minutes. and
Oh
it's
my God, this smells so bad.
probably the worst.
Oh my God, please just leave. Please. Oh God, it's so bad.
Listen, I had to get whatever was in me out, because clearly that was causing me a lot of pain. You know what have made it worse?
She's a good pal.
Holding that vile fart in, okay? It was funny though, it did literally last 5 minutes.
So what
Oh
happened
my
is,
god.
I took Evan to A&E because he was in intense pain, thinking he had appendicitis and he was probably going to die. Something was going to burst. We have stayed here for 5 to 6 hours. Evan has now done the very biggest fart he's ever done. We're sitting in this tiny box for him. The fart smell is not leaving.
Because there's no windows, is there?
We're cooking in it.
Ah,
Oh my God, that's all I can smell. Still in my
that's
nostrils.
disgusting.
Oh my God, just get it out.
It's like in your clothes.
Oh my God. It's 6 a.m. Did I mention that?
At this point, everyone was still really confused with what was happening with me, because the doctors had prodded and pushed, and they decided it most likely isn't appendicitis, but they also didn't really know what else it could be. And so they wheeled me over to a specific area of the hospital in which I finally got my very own room. However, this whole ordeal did leave me incredibly hydrated. Every doctor that saw me kept telling me that I had incredibly dry lips, and I was like, what do you mean? SpongeBob meme or something. I was drinking water too. It's just, you know...
Mate, that just made me want to drink some water.
With the stomach bug also came a bit of sploosh. TMI, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to help you paint the piece together. You don't need to know this. Well, I guess you do, because if you're still watching, I had to poop in a tube. I had to give my stool to the doctor. It wasn't fun! I had to shove a tube up my booty. It was not fun. It was messy. I wanted to die, especially because I did it while being hooked to an IV to rehydrate me, which, by the way, really cool, kind of, but also I just did not like that feeling. It felt like there constantly, like a fire almost for a little bit. And no me gusta. Oh, the Spanish was working. At least I learned some Spanish in the hospital. Hola, doctor. Toma este tubo de mi caca. Gracias, señor.
What's on the menu today?
I need to do some Duolingo today.
Welcome to... This is crazy, though, the fact that I don't know, I just get a patient dining. Spiced at XO. They also catered for my university.
At this point, Dodie finally felt comfortable enough to let me be alone, which was so nice of her, genuinely, to go throughout all this effort to take me to the hospital, to sit with me, not being able to sleep, smelling my horrible farts for 6 hours. You know, it took a lot. So she finally left, and I got a nice, wholesome 30 minutes of sleep in me.
Got some breakfast. I slept for like a half hour.
I mean, is that like your standard hospital breakfast in America or Canada?
Finally
or
left, and I got a nice, wholesome 30 minutes of sleep in me.
Got some
So some toast, some cereal. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what you're going to get, right?
breakfast. I slept for like a half hour. Wasn't so bad. Feels nice. But this thing hurts me. This IV. I don't want it.
They genuinely sent me on my way, told me if I was having any issues to come back, but they didn't know what was going on, but hopefully it all clears up. And as of speaking now, hi, it's been a couple days and I do feel a bit queasy still, but almost all the pain has subsided, which is nice, thank God. But the whole process, despite its flaws and the wait times and the naff and that stuff, I'm still very appreciative for it. I ended up only having to spend £9 for this whole ordeal, and that was for the prescription for codeine. I had an IV bag in me.
Everything else was free.
Didn't cost a thing. I mean, like I said, I'm paying taxes for this. Great. This is what I'm very thankful and appreciative that I can pay taxes to, or national insurance, or whatever it's called. I had multiple doctors. I had multiple nurses. I had a meal. I had a little bed. I had a consultation. All of this stuff, all included. It was great. And the doctors that cared for...
Like, how much would this cost in North America? I'm so intrigued. For everything you've seen in this video, what would it run him?
me were really great. One of them, I don't know. I never expected to hear a doctor say something to me like, have you pissed in a tube yet? You know, you just don't expect to hear him just say piss. Just whips out piss. I want to hear like, hello, sir. Do you have any urine? Nope. Just straight up piss. Something I thought would be really interesting to look up and find more information about regarding this whole situation would be, if I had actually gotten my appendix taken out, how much money would it have cost in the US where I used to live? Because I wouldn't have insurance if I lived in the US. I'm a freelancer. That's not how it works. And so I began to look up what this would cost. And even though it didn't surprise me, it still blew my mind. The top result you get when you're searching for how much it costs to get an appendix removed in the States is a story about a 20-year-old guy who got stuck with a $55,000 bill to get his appendix removed. But don't worry, guys. He wasn't fully stuck. You see, this guy was smart. He had health insurance. That's what everyone says, right? Oh, you know, just pay for health insurance. You're getting a full... Good thing that took 80% of that way. Boy was stuck with 11 grand. 20 years old. Are you?
So even with health insurance, he had to pay 11 grand. Fucking hell! That is insane. That is insane.
20. You're anywhere near that? Do you have 11 grand to just blow on? Well, gotta do it. You cannot predict when your health is going to fail in that situation. And even when you're protected with insurance in the US, you're just not. I'm so thankful.
Why is it 11 grand to get you?
I'm so thankful that I was not having to pay any of this.
Man.
And if you say, like, you did pay for it over time, sure, whatever, great. I'm okay with that. Everyone is able to pitch in for this great institution. That's a good idea. And if anything, the only shortcomings of this whole situation are because of the underfunding the NHS, because we need to put more money into the NHS. But hey, if Boris gets his way, you know, we're going to be privatizing it, making it just like the USA.
Oh,
so,
God, please,
hooray,
God, no.
Can't wait for that next general election to disappoint everyone. The average price of getting an appendix removed in the States, by the way, is $13,000. And that's without insurance, which is what I would have to pay, which would wreck me completely. And if I did have magical insurance, I'd still be stuck with a bill of over $3,000 for an appendix.
Wow, 3 grand. And here it's free. I mean, yes, we pay NHS per month, but it's only like It's 9% of your annual income. So you divide that by the 12 months. So it's really not that much.
To me, that is crazy. It's crazy that something that you cannot prevent, something like a health concern like that, can absolutely bankrupt someone. It's depressing. I'm not trying to make this a political thing because I don't think this should be a political issue. I do just think health care should be a right. I'm crazy. Well, I hope you enjoyed my little story.
Genuinely mind blown at how much that 20-year-old had to pay in America. 55K. I mean, I know he only had to pay 11K. I mean, only 11K. That's still an enormous amount of money. I need to see like an itemization of that bill. Like, where has that money come from and where is it going? 55 grand, I'm sorry, that just seems absolutely obscene. The NHS is far from perfect, but yeah, from what I've heard from various people, I prefer it to the American system for sure. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.